Well, hello and welcome to another Godzilla Battle Line tier list video. I saw that there was actually one of these. I think somebody posted on Reddit like a couple weeks ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago, really at this rate. They had made one, or actually did one. I thought it was kind of interesting. I kind of want to go and do mine, but somebody had actually made a Godzilla Battle Line tier list with what I believe is all the units, or at least up till like the most recent one released. I believe he's the most recent one. Maybe it was just. Maybe he'd be the most recent one because it was Terrestrius, Kong, Jet Jaguar, and Legendary Godzilla. So I believe this is mostly up to date. I do want to actually rank them because I think it was interesting reading some of their opinions on some of the different units. Though I do think I'm going to need one other thing, and D. We need something else below D, and it needs to be. Let's see. Haven't used. Yes, they haven't used. That's probably the best way to really phrase this, because there is still one unit I haven't gotten. And there is one who I just recently got, like the other day, and I haven't really used him enough to actually say that is Kong, and he's only like 1 star. I think I might have added too many of those rows. Yep, I hate how it does that. I feel like it should probably take me out of there. But let's go ahead and delete these 2 other ones right quick. But yes, there's 2 here. I haven't gotten Mothra. I have fought people with them, although I have no idea how strong she is without having really used her yet myself. Other people seem strong, but I don't know how much they actually have upgraded it. Why are these 2 sharing a thing together? Very interesting. Some very odd images there. So I can't really say. I guess I'm gonna kind of group these together. Although I will admit, it is interesting to notice they do have the transformed units separate. Because I will admit, there is some that I feel like might be a little bit more useful in one form than another. I think the biggest one with that is Hedorah, with them transforming from a flying like aerial bomber toxin wolf chemical warfare type unit, then going to a ground one, which I mean I guess is still does similar thing, but I kind of like it's being able to be targeted differently with flying, so there's that. But so yeah, all 3 of these don't have either of them, so I can't really test them out. They seem kind of strong. The Mothra maybe more so, but I don't also know how much my enemies have her upgraded for me to say that she's really that strong or not. I kind of need to have them, at least if I know how strong they are and what level. Like somebody might throw out a strong Legendary Godzilla, but they might have him like maxed out or something, so it might not be that good. Kong, I just got, I think the other day, maybe 2 days ago, level 1. I haven't really used them. Probably not gonna really be using them. From what enemies I've seen, opponents I've seen use him, he's not that strong feeling most of the time. And I really don't think my level 1 will be that strong at level 55, 54 arena rank. So yeah, I'm putting them down here because it's just kind of improper for me to judge them, in my opinion. Oh, and just for the record, we are doing this August 23rd, 2021. Just want to throw that out there for like the meta stuff. It might change at the end of this month when they do maybe another balance patch or something, but this is just kind of based upon that time frame. Let's see. Let's just start at the top. We have Anguirus. Pretty good. Not as good as he used to be. But I don't know. Maybe still an A tier or B tier. Also, I realized they deleted my D roll. Let's go with this. D and add 1 below. Here we go. I'm like, something's missing. Oh my gosh, I hate how it does. Okay, so I need to. Sorry, I'm not as familiar with tier list maker, so let me just get this actually sorted out. There we go. Okay, finally, now we're back up to where we need to be. So, A or B, maybe B now. I feel like he used to be more A, but we also have more like bigger boy units. So while he was very tanky like back in the day, like in Meta 1, maybe even Meta 2, wasn't really around too much for Meta 2. Meta 3, I don't feel like he's as good because you have like Ghidorah, the singular point Godzillas and stuff just wrecking stuff with big damage. So he's not as great as he used to be because other things he's going up against also have high health, so he's not as good. Like when he was going up against just like Kamakas swarms, he was really good. Maybe C. You might be a little bit better, but I don't know. I feel like these things get destroyed quickly. They do okay-ish damage, but I think I mean which one costs more. One costs 5, one costs, I think this is 5 and that one's 6. I'd rather throw out a Terrestrius, a Megaguirus, a Ghidorah, could at least throw out one of these. I mean there's lots of other stuff you could play instead, so while I would like these, especially if the enemy has like a missile strike or train bomb, they can just destroy them like instantly, so they're not as good. I mean, sure they had to waste energy on it, and you spawn a couple things. They did it right away. It just destroys everything. I don't feel like they're that great. I like this can target air units. I mean, both of them can. But I like how this one's also flying, so it makes it, I think, a little bit better. So less units are able to target it, but I don't know. They're still kind of meh. Which also reminds me, where is my tanks? Here we go. I used to like them, I would put them up here. I like that they were a cheap unit, but now they don't feel as cheap because just for 2 more energy, you can play like a way bigger guy. Like these were better when swarms were more of a meta. Right now, I feel like they're kind of still trash. I don't know. I hate putting these guys so low because I like them, but I don't know. I feel like there's just better things to throw out for full cost than these guys, as much as I liked using them. We have Manila, which is maybe. I'm gonna leave him here for right now. I feel like he's really underrated, maybe the most underrated unit in the game. He's not like that great, but 2 costs, he's really good. I liked him when he was 4 costs. Thought he was great then, back in Meta 1. But now, with being 2 costs, he's great to throw out, very quick to throw out after another big cost unit. Can do a little bit of stun, has great range. I forgot they upped his range recently. I don't think he used to be able to outrange leader units. But he can outrange a leader unit. Does okay-ish damage, not the most, but he's good for providing support. Easy to throw down when somebody's charging you with a King Caesar. Throw him down right in front of you, have the King Caesar hit it. My guy normally lives, at least mine, I don't know, it probably all depends on what level they have stuff upgraded to, but mine survives. Normally the King Caesar gets killed, because I mean he's right up against my leader unit. I know that's very specific, but let him get right up towards your leader unit. Throw down this person right in front of the King Caesar, right up against your unit. King Caesar runs into him, doesn't attack for a little bit. At least my Manila normally lives, can start to attack him, and the leader unit attacks him and kills him, and they're just a King Caesar wasted for 2 energy costs. Provides good support, throw him out there, let him attack the leader unit from range, attack the other enemy units from range, throw him out after Terrestrius, let him get in front of the Terrestrius and soak up the damage before the Terrestrius gets there. He also has like decent health, and maybe not the most attack. I mean, compared to some other units, the attack number looks decently high to me, but I'm sure other units have it way high. I just haven't gone too heavily into comparing the numbers. I just see how the numbers get big when I upgrade them. But he has like decent stats. Like I feel like he's very underrated for a 2-star unit with a bunch of versatility. He's either A or S tier. Like he's not the most game changer unit, but he's a really good support unit that's great to throw out for cheap calls. You may want to get somebody else in there, because I have had matches where my hand just gets clogged up with stuff that's not really playable. Throw him down for 2 calls, let him do something to get a new unit in there. So that's why he's kind of so high for me. Space Godzilla, I want to love you. I don't know if you're even exactly D tier. I kind of like how you create spikes. Doesn't really, I don't think, do anything, but it's kind of cool. Maybe if I had you at a higher level, I could use you more. But at the like level 2, I have you at. You don't really do too much, which I know you're low level, but you just don't seem better than the other 6 cost units. Like how these are so low. I know one of them's 5. I just can't remember which, but still, just I'd rather save up for one of the bigger, good 6 cost units than you. Or maybe if you were super leveled up, you'd be a little bit better. But I think really you're kind of down here. I like your special stuff, but yeah. Also, just for the record, I'm just ranking these based off of actual like use playing them. I'm not going to make them as like leader units because that kind of changes a whole bunch of other things. Although I also know with some of them being leader units, you might have some things more upgraded than others because you have them as a leader. Like Godzilla's one of my go-to leaders, Godzilla and Mecha Godzilla. So they're both a little bit more upgraded and some other things get a little bit of health, so I last a little bit longer. So they're not, I don't feel like they're the most fair to compare to some other things. I've upgraded them more. But I do have them like that. What's up with some of these terrible image crops? Okay, well, we're not going to judge the persons. If you saw my other tier list video, I made that tier list, the actual tier list template itself, and those images look horrible, so I'm not here to judge. Gigan is also... I might give him here. I don't like him as much now, but he definitely was S tier for quite a bit. Just more people now have a terrestrius that can shoot him halfway across the screen sideways, so he doesn't live as long as he used to. Does excellent damage, very good at killing leaders, especially if you have like a big fight going on this side, throw him out on the other side, let him just run on over to the leader and do lots of damage. Only focuses on the leader so doesn't get really caught up in other units. Has some weird pushing physics stuff going on if you get things lined up just right, which is very, very interesting. But yeah, I just have him. I feel like he's very slept on. He's really good. I mean, not as good now that we do have lots of longer range units like Terrestrius and Ghidorah, kind of long range. So the Ghidorah is also just kind of like a weirdly large unit anyways. So I feel like they get kind of HUD a little bit more, and it's not too hard to throw down some stuff to kill them. But if you have like enemy split focus, you have like a death ball on one side they're trying to stop, you throw him out on the other side, they have to choose between continuing to deal with your death ball and deal with him. You're going to get damage out of it kind of regardless either side, so I feel like he's pretty good up here. I like him. He's also really good. I feel like early on when people started, at least back in the day, people started using like Mothra units, even though they only had them like 1 or 2 levels. You throw out a guy gain and he would like kill the Mothra on like 6 hits, 7 hits. So if you're early on, you're dealing with some like annoying 4-star leaders that might be a little bit harder to deal with for other things. Throw down again, have him run on over there. It's kind of like a King Caesar, but a little bit more focused, a little bit more expensive. Not saying I think he's 5 calls, King Caesar's 4 calls, but I feel like he's really slept on for how good to me he is. Although I might rotate him off of my main team now that we do have lots more longer range units, but I still like to throw him out there. He's also a good one to throw out if you have a bunch of units attacking the enemy leader, but they're kind of throwing out some other stuff to kind of hold them off or deal damage. Throw him out there, he'll get over there real quick, they won't be able to stop him, and he'll start doing damage, and maybe those units already over there won't target him because they're targeting your other stuff out there. Throw him over there as an assassin, kind of good. I feel like there's some good strategies with him. I'm probably going to rank these on the same level because I feel like they're very similar. I think Rose Form has a little bit longer range, although I think I just have them like level 3, so I don't know how much more variation it does have once you get them a little bit more upgraded, because it might be a little bit more drastic. They don't move that quick, which is actually kind of good for a transforming unit because they just stay on your side for a long time. But I kind of want to rank them. They either B, actually, yeah, they get A tier. Why? Good AoE attack. Attacks all around them. Great for destroying swarms, which you don't run into too much. There's not swarm meta, but if you do run into a swarm, just throw this person down and they'll just destroy them. I like how quickly they do move when they become full on Biollante. They get over to the enemy side pretty quickly. They're actually kind of healthy, it feels like. I mean, I've thrown them. I mean, I know enemy levels vary drastically, but I've thrown them out against some Ultimas, and they survive a couple of hits. And they don't do too much damage, but they'll destroy the swarms that might be coming along with them. They're kind of good. I like how they attack off them. I mean, they don't attack air units, which is kind of unfortunate. But I mean, it's always unfortunate when you can't attack an air unit. But hear me out, they're 3 costs. They're very cheap to play, very easy to play. I feel like they're decently strong for being low level on my team, and they're cheap to play. For like Manila being a 2 cost, this is a 3 cost. It's the second cheapest thing on my main team. I'm able to throw it out there a lot. She moves very quicker than you would think based off of the first form. And she gets over there to the enemy side pretty quickly and you just do some good AoE damage to stop some swarms and other things. Less used probably now, but I do run into an enemy semi-frequently, maybe 1 out of 3 times or something that's still maybe using a swarm unit, because I know a lot of us probably, if you were here from the beginning, have a lot of those things upgraded, so like you can still kind of use them, especially if you have like a daily or something to use them. But she's like a perfect counter to that. You can just place her down in either form next to your leader and they'll just destroy any swarm nearby. They're cheap enough to throw out and play. They also do enough damage that even if you have like a Ghidorah over there attacking, she can probably spawn and kill the swarms that are at your leader before she gets killed. So I feel like that's pretty good use. I mean, I guess you want to give her the Ghidorah more, but it might be good to go ahead and remove those Kamakas from attacking you. So just, I think one I think is very useful and a little bit underrated. I know that she's not like very high leveled, but feels really strong for me with only having her level 3 and her health being kind of that high and her damage being kind of decent and solid AoE stuff going on. Also decent range as well, which is kind of nice too. Next up we have Batra, which I also haven't really used them that much. I have them and I've thrown them out, but I think it might be really fair to throw them down here too. As much as I would like to use them, I think I might have them level 2. They just don't really have a fit for my team and are kind of weak, and I just haven't really used them. They might be good enough to play, which also let me just, there we go, makes it feel a little bit better to me. But yeah, I just haven't really used them because they haven't really been good enough to use. Yeah, you know, I've had them for a while, unfortunate for them, but I think it just would be unfair for me to rank these with how kind of little I've actually used them. You know, maybe some other things on here I've used just as little as them, but I haven't really found a good slot for them yet. Okay, Hedora. I feel like if you were actually faster, you might be higher up. Like, I might even put you up here if you were faster, but I think maybe here, and maybe you, like, I haven't had too much use with second form, because they kind of sometimes die a bit, so maybe it's kind of unfair to rank them. They still feel decent. I don't exactly like that they go up in cost, because I kind of like having a little bit of a cheaper unit, not too much. I think it goes from 3 to 4, so it's not that big of a deal, but I kind of like having a little bit of a cheaper unit. I hate how it goes from flying to a ground unit, because I feel like it actually gets a little bit weaker by that, because now it's being able to be targeted by lots more things. I like that this is, I want to say, a little bit more range now, because he can actually attack forward, while this one, if I'm not mistaken, just attacks underneath him. I don't really like that about him. But the other one, I don't know. Like, I don't think this is the best upgrade. I know Biollante gets a little bit less range when she upgrades, but I don't feel like that really has too much effect over her. Him going from flying to a ground unit I feel like actually kind of has some effect. I kind of wish they separated these out into two different units. Also, I think it could maybe benefit if this one was maybe a little bit longer, well, not maybe longer range, a little bit faster, maybe kind of looked for units in a little bit of a wider area. So we just kind of send it out there and have it kind of follow things around and poison them, drop the toxic cloud. Also, I think it's not still AoE. Maybe I haven't really used it too much to judge for myself, but I think there's some things you could do to upgrade them. But I really do like the utility of this form and the uniqueness. This one's just a little bit less unique. Also, it being a little bit higher cost, I think makes it a little bit lesser. I mean, I think this is, like I said, 3 cost to 4 cost. Maybe it's 4 to 5, something like that. So it's not like the biggest thing ever, but I kind of hate seeing him evolve because I lose the utility of this form. Also, I have like an aerial only team, like a flying units only team, and I hate how it kind of I feel like I'm violating a sacred rule by having a ground based unit on the team whenever he does evolve. It just feels kind of a little wrong to me. Godzilla, definitely up in A tier, although yeah, I might leave it A. It's either A or B. He's super strong, really good. I think the highest cost unit in the game now. I kind of feel like maybe King Ghidorah could maybe still be up there. Though I might could change lots of the cost values for some units, especially with how expensive the cheaper or the weaker units are now. Really good damage. Maybe kind of actually no, I'm gonna do it. He's kind of slow. Does great damage. Can't hit an aerial unit, and we do have some kind of strong aerial units in the game. Also, Terrestrius does okay damage. I feel like sometimes mine doesn't feel like stops as far away as it possibly could, so he gets punched a couple of times and gets killed. But I feel like there's enough units that can kind of hard counter him. That while he is very strong and having an enemy send one out to you, you not being able to defeat him and he 3-shots your leader is very annoying in Arena. There's just enough stuff that counters him. Like, I mean, I guess he kind of does okay. He slows him down a little bit. You throw out a Freezing Sunday, instant counter, kind of a counter. I don't think it really follows him, bombs him too much, but does some damage, can't attack back, does damage, can't attack back, 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 can't attack back. Range, has range on him, can do decent damage. Also, his block is really good to counter it. Range. Also, there was one other thing I was gonna say. Maybe one other flying unit. Something else I'm missing? Oh, no, I always said Freezing Sunday. I think that's kind of it for like counters. But yeah, it's just kind of like I feel like it's kind of easy enough to counter him if you have the units. Sometimes you just can't. I don't know, bad hand draw, whatever. He's very, very strong. He works as a leader, so it's a little bit easier or makes better sense to have a good invested one of him. Like, have a daily mission where you have to use Gigan or King Kong. I think you have to use King Kong ever, but it's just somebody who might not be as upgraded. It's kind of nice to be able to just throw him on the team and have him be like pretty high level because he might be your go-to leader, and just have him kind of wreck some stuff. But it is kind of unfortunate how he gets kind of count. Oh, also. Helicopter base, how he just gets kind of fairly hard countered by any flying unit in the game. Kind of sucks. I just realized there's a second Manila down here. Okay. But yeah, so I kind of want to do A tier, but like when you can hard counter him, you can hard counter him, and that's a big investment. And it doesn't feel like it costs that much stuff because like any flying unit can kind of do. Might not be too great. Oh, also the cannon. If you have a high level one of these, how slow he is, how close he has to get to attack, these things can do solid damage against him. So yeah. Then you have the Kamakas Swarm. Back in the day, I'd probably put them up here, maybe even here. Now they might be, I don't know, maybe C. Yeah, I guess C. They're not like that bad, but 5 costs not the best thing. Can get killed by like any strike, basically. Big investment for that price. You can throw out an Anguirus, you throw out a Gigan, you can throw out 2.5 of these, one of these, one of these, one of these two, don't remember which. Almost throw out any of the big guys. Like, not as good as they used to. Hope they come back to being better though. King Caesar, I'm gonna put B. I like them. I don't really use them right now. Maybe it'd be better if I did. Some I've had enemies use it being annoying, but most of the time I just hard counter it with a vanilla. So it was almost like when I do that, they'd be kind of down here, maybe even down here. But I know some people get some good use out of it. If you go up somebody that doesn't have a cheap thing to throw out to block it, hitting your leader can be very bad. Hitting a higher cost unit can be kind of bad. I think you can even get in there and do good damage against Godzilla. I think he might stun a little bit. I don't exactly remember his thing, but I think he basically normally gets in and does some guaranteed damage. He's pretty good, and I like how him and Gigan do very similar things, but do them very differently. And I kind of like that interesting niche of like an assassin fast unit. Also like how he has this interesting speed up mechanic versus Gigan, who's always running at full speed. It's probably one of the maybe more cooler mechanically speaking units in the game, which is impressive to me for 2-star. But I don't know if he doesn't feel as great to me as other people say he is. But I think that's just because my team has solid counters to him. Also, I think he's like weaker than Gigan. His charge is really strong. His basic attack isn't as great, and I think he does have less health than Gigan. I haven't looked at him, I'm pretty sure. But they're both kind of similar. They both, I guess, kind of fit, to me, same niches, although I guess if one attacks leaders, if you use him to attack somebody else is a very different niche. But to me, they kind of feel like they have that same sort of niche. I just don't feel like I need one that can attack other things as well. King Ghidorah. What can I say? He's up here. He's very, very strong. I luckily have like a level 3, level 4 version of him. I mean, because that's not that great. But considering that I got that very early on in Meta 1 and he completely sucked in there and was worthless, and I hated I got him versus anything else like Mothra, which was very good back then, and I still haven't got her. I seen her appear one time in the store, and I've been saving up ever since for the day that she graces me with her reappearance. Yeah, he's just kind of really good. I like how he went from like trash, lowest tier unit in the game, and gets his own special tier for how bad he is, to a pretty good top tier unit. Great at handling swarms, smaller units, any land kaiju that can't attack air units. Let's see what else. He does all of that. Oh, big AoE damage, so if you do have a couple different things attacking him, he does damage to everything. You stop him in front of your leader to attack another unit, he still does damage to your leader because that big AoE. I think he's pretty cool. Destroyer Lava, I would used to have them back up here back in the day, but I think now they're probably like down here. Not as good as they once were, but the ability to attack a little bit longer range, I believe. They might move a little bit faster too, but they also attack aerial units. I think it still gives them more utility than this. They cost the same as the Kamakas Swarm, but lots more utility going on here. The only big major down, I think they might be a little squishy, I'm not 100% sure, but they crowd up more than this Swarm. So they're easier to kill in AoE. Granted, most AoE things that could kill this can also kill these in a single hit. But these you might have like 1 or 2 get around by Alante's like first attack. These guys just kind of all die instantly. So I think there is that little bit of a negative there. Mega Gears. Either A or B. I really like them. I feel like they're pretty strong aerial unit. kind of like Rodan, but better. I think they might move a little faster, or maybe equal to Rodan. Or it might be slow. I can't remember. I haven't really done a speed test against them. I'd throw them out with my King Ghidorah as backup. Great for units that can't attack air units. They do I believe, debuff zone that decreases attack speed and maybe movement speed. I don't remember the other one. But basically, it kind of makes your stuff stronger. I like throwing it out with the King Ghidorah, especially against a Terrestrius or Ultima, even though I know that's like way cheaper cost. You throw out 2/6 cost versus 1/6 cost. But like, even if your thing is maybe going to win, this makes the enemy do like less damage, and of course it does more damage too. Also good like homing, not really homing range, but like likes to follow units around the map and harass them. I just feel like it's good support for other units. Also maybe throw it out with something else, maybe a Terrestrius or something, and it just, for the first, 8-10 seconds, it makes kind of anything that gets close enough to attack them weaker, which is just, I feel like, really good for just almost being like a more expensive Rodan that is like a little bit better. I like how it throws in some extra utility as well, so I really do like them. Even though I think it is a little weird that this costs the same as this. I know you can upgrade this one a whole lot easier, but like King Ghidorah is such a better cost for 6, and is like maybe not the best cost for a 6-star or 6 cost creature. I feel like it is very good, and just kind of hard to sleep on how useful it can be at causing damage and assisting. And it can be sometimes annoying how I would just find a little like swarm unit and follow it across the map to attack it. I do kind of like how it will do that. It just does a good cleanup job. Stealth Bomber, back in the day I might have put it up here or here, but I don't know. I'm somewhere between these two. I mean, maybe you could go up here, but I feel like there is just enough stealth that can destroy aerial units. I don't feel like it has enough health. It's kind of like here. I feel like it's similar kind of to King Ghidorah, not King Ghidorah, Gigan and King Caesar, in that it's almost like an assassin to go get the leader, but it is, I feel like, extra squishy. Doesn't attack too frequently, so like if it was flying across the map and did a little bit more bombs as it went, I feel like it could maybe be a little bit better. But if you had like, if I remember it correctly, like a Godzilla out there, you'll hit it one time and keep going, so it doesn't do too great of a job, at least not now, against some larger single target units. Pretty good when there was like some swarm stuff come out, drop a bomb, deal a decent bit of damage, but I don't feel like it is as good as it used to be, sadly. Hope maybe it comes back. I thought it was a very interesting unit. Like, it's kind of basic. It's just a stealth bomber. It's just kind of basic in that regard, but I really did like it. This one, Dimensional Tide. It's either D or C tier. I might throw it up into C because it does do some damage. It pulls some units together. Could have a little bit of a use. Doesn't feel like it has too much, but I feel like it does something at least. Freezing Sunday to me is kind of D or C. Like, I feel like it has some uses. It can slow some stuff down. I feel like it might could slow him down, but he's already kind of so slow. I'm not 100% sure if it's the best investment here. I kind of hate when I get it in my hand because I feel like most of the time it just sits there because there's never like a good time to use it. Where I could just throw something else out instead. It can slow down him and it can slow down him, which can be useful, but I'd rather just play down like him instead or something, or wait one more energy and throw out a Biolante. Okay, it doesn't do any damage. I feel like it could maybe use a little bit of buffs to make it a little bit more usable, because this is one of the few things I almost want to re-roll for a daily, because I just kind of hate using it. I know some of the people have it like up here or up here, but I just don't feel like the Freezing Sunday has much of a use on my team at all, and it doesn't just really do too much. The cannon, I might stick it here. Mostly mine's just not too upgraded, so I can't really say. Some enemies throw them out and they're like super annoying, but I feel like normally I just wait then and save up 6 energy, because I think it costs 4 or 5, so it's like a decent investment. But I just wait and save up energy and play like one big cost unit, but also have saved up like 10 energy so I can play another big cost unit soon afterwards and just wait for this thing to despawn. So I don't feel like it's that great. It's decent. It's great counter to certain units, but it doesn't attack the leader unless you go in overtime, which I love killing the enemy leader with this in overtime. But it just doesn't do too much in my opinions. I don't feel like it's too fair to put it up too much higher. You almost back in the day I would put you here because back in the day you kind of healed a lot, but that was when I was like lower level. I know you are still like level 10 I think for me now, so you're not like max upgraded. Maybe if you were you'd heal more, but it used to like kill your leader unit pretty good back in the day, like Meta 1, but now, I don't know, maybe here it does something. I don't hate it when I get this one. I mean, even if I had it more upgraded, I think it would help a lot, because you have lots of bigger health units, so it doesn't help out as much with like healing a Godzilla versus maybe healing a Swarm or something, some smaller things, but it's not as good, I feel like, as it used to be, but I liked it more than the Freezing Sunday, because I feel like it at least noticeably does something. Like, worst case scenario, if I need to get on my hand, I just play it on myself. Bogira, I think I might put it B. I feel like B might be a solid place for it. Kind of like Gigan and King Caesar, you can throw it onto the leader unit or whatever you basically want it to go to on the map. I know a lot of people sometimes destroy these, which is kind of good, although it's still like a decent investment. Like, you could just drop some missiles on it, but at least this might go and attack the leader afterwards, but just some decent damage. Used them a lot back in the day. It was kind of my swap in for Gigan and King Caesar. But I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it's as good now. Although I know leader units are more upgraded, I still kind of like it, but it's kind of, man, it's not exactly like down to here. I don't feel like it has as much use as it does or sees as much play, but I don't feel like it's still very bad when it does get played. It's just like if you do have some swarms, some cheaper units, throw those down around your leader and just kill it. That's what I normally do. Throw down Biolante in Manila. If I do have a swarm thing on my team, maybe throw that down. Well, the cheaper swarm unit, which I guess isn't actually a swarm, just a Kamakis, but it still has 3 of them. So that's kind of, it's still a swarm, it's just not the swarm. It's kind of quick to kill. I don't know if it does as much. I don't know if it's like the best investment when it gets used against me. Maybe if it killed an energy refueling thing and then it comes over, maybe it still does some damage to my leader, so it's not like you basically spent the same amount of energy to destroy it, but it doesn't feel like it gets as much good use. This one, kind of up here, it does good. If your enemy has like a strike, it's kind of worthless because it gets destroyed, although I think 5 costs, so I believe even energy usage, so you played it for 5 costs but they removed it for 5. I guess net loss for everybody, net equal. That's still 5 energy gone for everybody if you put it far enough where they don't hit your leader too. Train, they come out 1 ahead. I don't know if this can exactly destroy it. This can, if you throw that over there. But it's pretty good. Gives you net energy. Helps you play more bigger cost cards, which are kind of the thing now. And it really kind of lets you use some other units you might not would otherwise. Like, I mean, I guess you're using them. But like, I don't know, maybe you want to play into just throw down Space Godzillas in your team, but it's not really that good. It's not your first go-to play, but you throw them out anyways. It kind of makes some more meta balls work. I think it makes the game a little bit more fun if like even if both sides have it. Just let everybody get more energy so they can play more stuff. Makes it just kind of a little bit more fun, just having more people throw down more stuff. So it's kind of up there. We have another Manila. I don't know why we have a second one of him. We have Missile Strike, which is, I'm gonna put it here. I think it used to be, definitely used to be S tier. It's so annoying. Some people hit it even with my like level 15 Godzilla, which I know it's not that high up, if I sometimes get hit by one of these and the person like removes still like 1/8 and 1/7 of my health, and it's like, oh my gosh, how high did you upgrade your missiles? Or that might be left over from back in the day, like some of the swarm units are still just super strong for the enemies because they had upgraded it for the past matches. But with them being 5 costs now, I feel like that is good. They can still like destroy any building, but it's more like an even trade cost. I think 5, 5. One of these is 5, one of them is 6. One of them you come out ahead, but it's still like not that great. Like, I don't know if these are as threatening that I might just would rather leave them. Maybe to remove this, to let your push go through. I can see doing this so they don't snowball out of control, but I don't feel like it's as good as it used to be. Still kind of good, but I feel like its main purpose was to destroy swarms and buildings, but I don't feel like buildings really get used enough. Or I mean, just besides this, just to remove this, I don't know if it's the most worth it. If you're removing other things, maybe, but I don't feel like I'm running to buildings enough to really make it a building removal worth it on my team, and the swarm stuff just isn't really around enough to use this, because this will kill these, them, maybe Mothra and Batra. I haven't used it on them, I don't know. I'm pretty sure my Manila normally kind of lives through some of the strikes, it seems like. I mean, assuming it's not the one that removes like 1/7 of my leader's health. I mean, that's just like, I guess, a level 30 missile strike. But like ones that feel like it might be kind of around my level, I think he might even live through. Biolante, I'm pretty sure definitely lives through. Other stuff, bigger kaiju stuff lives through it, so I just don't know if it has that much of a use. Then you have Kamakas Swarms, which I still say maybe here, maybe here. Yeah, I'm gonna put them here. Like they're just kind of an in between. I don't know if they're exactly good enough to be A tier because they still kind of die, but lots of people still have them high enough that they still, I think, have some decent use. They're not just like instantly die if they hit. They still do some damage, but they're still 2 calls for 3 units that do okay damage, especially if you have them upgraded. I feel like they're still pretty good. I think he, of course, being 1 unit has like maybe the health of 3 of these combined. I think he has more than that, but seems like he's a little bit sturdier because he's 1 unit, not 1 piece divided between 3 units. But I think it's still pretty solid. Throw it out there to like backup to some of your big kaiju balls. It does some damage. Might slow some stuff down, especially if it's not AoE. Throw that out there. Like if you can get closer to a Terrestrius, that's still kind of good to swarm it with. The bigger swarms are also good, but like you throw out one of these 5 cost ones, you might as well save up to like maybe throw your own Terrestrius or Rodan or somebody. Train Bomb is kind of like this, but I'll put it up here just cause it's a little bit cheaper. Attacks air units as well. Has a little bit of a line, which sometimes makes it a little bit better for destroying buildings, because like you get the leader and one of these if it's backwards or forwards at the same time. So I think that's a little bit good, because if you put it out there to the corner, I don't think you can hit it with missiles and the leader at the same time, but this one you can. It's 1 cost cheaper. Thematically, I just like it more too, but it's kind of you, but cheaper. I feel like for equal leveling, it still does enough to destroy any buildings, so it kind of still fulfills this one's purpose, but you don't like come out net energy usage. You come out ahead by 1 or 2, so I kind of like this one a little bit more. I don't know, maybe if it might not still should even be A tier. Actually, I think to be fair, it probably should still even be A tier. It should probably be the same tier as this is, but it's just in the same tier but better. Also, still, just to have it remove the energy, I don't know if it's exactly the most worth it, because myself, if I notice the opponent destroyed my energy thing, I'm probably not going to play it again, so we're just kind of clogging up cards in our hands. So, and Rodan, I'm going to say maybe here. It's an okay flying unit. doesn't really do anything special besides flying. It's kind of fast, has decent enough health and attack, but isn't like too special or unique, if that makes sense. He does what he does. He does it decently enough. I don't use him because I use like these two flying units. And if I was gonna pick one, I'd probably pick. I do pick him over Rodan. I also like this kaiju a lot more than this one. I always like Mega Gears, or at least after the Godzilla Saved the Earth game, she was super dope in that game. So I used her kind of since the game came out. At least I wanted to use her 'cause I thought she was super cool. So I kind of pick her over Rodan. But Rodan's, he's there. He's there. He does his job. He's decent. 5 costs is also pretty good. Maybe if he was 4 costs, he might be better. But he does what he does it decently. Mecha Godzilla is... It's either B or A. I might give it to A because it's a 4 cost, so it's nicer to throw out as another cheap unit because sad to say 4 cost is kind of cheap. Mine feel like it dies very quickly though, and some enemies I feel like does too against some of my more meta picks, but then sometimes I go pick somebody who might have, which I'm curious if it might have been their go-to leader, so they have it more upgraded, kind of like Godzilla is for me, and who just feel like they tank a ton of damage, but they are very, well actually no, I'm going to put it down here too. It is very short range, weirdly, and I feel like it uses too many of its powers a lot in battle. I know very limited to kind of like a one attack for most units, so you can't have him just kind of go off with all the different weapons that a Mecha Godzilla has, especially like all the other Mecha Godzillas. It's gonna be kind of weird, but I don't know, his eye lasers just feel very short range, and he's kind of sometimes very killable. Sometimes he does lots of damage and soaks a bunch of hits, but that's probably just somebody with like a level 25 against mine like level 12 or whatever. So I kind of put him there. Now I guess for these two, I don't know why these two are sharing a thing together. That'd be a very scary unit though. Terrestrius, I feel like it's probably safe to put both of them up here. Maybe he might be a little bit lower, but I mean, I feel like he still does really good damage when I throw him out there and he attacks the enemy. I know like he's suddenly definitely better, and I think he has a little bit longer range, or it takes him less time to start attacking than him. I feel like I normally get hit first when I'm up against an Ultima, but I have a Terrestrius before kill enemy Ultimas. I think it's more like my regeneration still on and everything, but really good unit, both of them, long range, does lots of damage. I can see why it might be kind of annoying, but they don't feel too annoying to me. I mean, I guess you go with somebody with like a very high level one of these, but somebody with a very high level good like meta pick is just super annoying anyways. So yeah, like sure, somebody has like a level 10 4-star that's like pretty powerful at like, well, sorry, your level 10 4-star up against a level 2 4-star that is good at level 2. Of course they're gonna seem way overpowered, but I don't know, I like using them. They have a cool design. They function, I think, pretty well in this game as a long-range attacker. I think it's interesting they don't really exactly fall fit. Well, there used to be his unique thing, but I feel like Ghidorah's almost in that same type of category. I feel like there's some kind of weird stuff with the size of this unit. Because sometimes I feel like it gets close enough for the enemy leader to attack it, but sometimes he outranges it. And also, I like how Baby Godzilla does it. I don't know why he has like as much range as Terrestrius does, because the Terrestrius is supposed to be like the long-range sniper unit, but he does. But yeah, they're both good. I won't say. I mean, I know this one's better. Most upgrades should be, or transforming units should be better in the upgraded version, and most I don't feel like changes too much. I guess you do have like land to flying. Sometimes it does it, although I don't know, I think you might be better off as a flying unit than the ground unit. Going from flying to ground, I can see that definitely being worse because less things can target you. But this one, I don't know if there's really a downside to this form, especially when it turns into this form. Personally. Then we have another Terrestrius. Then we have Jet Jaguar. Jet Jaguar feels like up here. I might even say down here. I've had better luck going up against him more now. His block is super annoying. His long range is super annoying. But you throw out any flying unit and he's basically dead. Although I hate how he can block a flying unit's attacks, and you might throw out King Ghidorah and he just kind of shrugs it off a bit. Then he takes some damage, and I'll say he kind of keeps going so you don't slow him down with a flying unit, but just throw him out there. I like how he does kind of counter them, which I guess makes sense with his range. He's kind of meant to counter them, though maybe his blocks just let him get in range. I feel like maybe do a little bit better that, though like be some other stuff later on. I have some stuff in plans for unit concepts for that. But yeah, I don't know. It feels very good, although I feel like I have enough stuff that can kind of counter him good. A good one of these still does good damage to him, especially if you get rid of his block. Flying units, he can't attack, so you throw out the King Ghidorah and the Mega Gears, take him out, although he's good cheap. I haven't used him too much myself, which might feel kind of weird putting him on here, because I have gone up against some of these, but I feel like I can rank him better. It's just, I have him at level 1, so he's just not really that good. Although the teams I tried him out on, just not really that great. I had to do some themed teams. Maybe if I had him a little bit more upgraded, throw him onto my go-to team as a full cost, that'd be pretty good. Might even replace Gigantic with him. I might even try that one day. But for right now, I kind of put him here because while he's nice, his complete weakness to flying units, I think, makes him lesser. If that makes sense. Like, although I still kind of believe he's a little bit too OP, but I feel like that's more so because he's a 4-star and they want to make him good. But I feel like, personally, he might should have been a 3-star and kind of have the stuff to reflect that and not be as strong. Because while he was super cool in his show, he wasn't really that strong, especially he wasn't that big. I wish maybe he was just kind of smaller in here too, because he has like that smaller style design. But just have him not be as strong of a unit, but just be more of a like good full cost unit. Because I kind of feel like he's almost up here with some of the big 6 cost units. But his main takeaway is he just gets destroyed by anything flying. So there is that, but I still kind of believe he might could use a little bit of a tweak to rein him in. Although so could some of these other things, but maybe, I don't know, just increase some of the energy costs again. Like, it'd be interesting he went back up to 8 costs or something. And then final one, you have him. I don't think he's like the worst thing ever. I kind of like his constant damage. Finally got him up to, I think, 4 stars. 4 stars. Level 4 now, he does a little bit more damage, although everybody else has like so much leveled up stuff, it's kind of hard for him to kind of like stand out or go up well against them. But I don't feel like he's too bad. Like, I think he maybe might be a little bit better than Space Godzilla at equal levels. Has a little bit more, I think, of a better niche of his constant like beam attack. And I think it might make him kind of good against Jet Jaguar, and I think Jet Jaguar might even kill him before he gets in range to be able to do that, because he has such a long range. But I don't think he'll be too bad once people actually get him up to a high enough level to make him a little bit more viable. But yeah, that's kind of my thing, really. Oh, I guess also to throw on, I don't have the combo tag team unit of these two, so I don't have that. So apparently that's something in the game now. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's kind of it. There's not as much of like sideways ranking in here. I might would do that, but we've been this is kind of a long video at this rate. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on all of these. You have some that are like really cool and I want them to be better, but right now they're just aren't. I'm curious to see when they shift the meta. Although I feel like the problem is when the meta shifts, some of like the top things will kind of come down. Some of these will be made to be better, and some stuff will kind of some things might stay the same. I don't know, you maybe increase this one's cost by 2, it might be dead. This one's cost by 2, might be dead. You make these things go back down in cost, they might come back into being a little bit more meta. You change some other things around, like it'll probably change quite a bit, and I'm sad to see some of these things go. Poppy Manila might not. I don't think enough people think he's good for him to really get enough, and he's not really like the strongest unit in the game, but I felt like he's a really good versatile unit, so to me he's one of like the better ones, can attack air units as well, so like he does a little bit of everything kind of, so hey, I love him. He's my baby boy. But yeah, there's just kind of like this. There's lots of different probably opinions in here for this one. So I definitely want to hear your opinions below, and I'm looking forward to sharing this on Reddit and having everybody freak out that I put Manila at the top. But I actually really like him, and I think he does lots of really useful stuff in this game, especially at 2 costs. So yeah, that's kind of it. So let me know what you thought about this one in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you for some maybe future streams of Godzilla Battle Line, or just some other stuff related to kind of some different games. So until next time, goodbye and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.